Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another podcast show here at the Life School Masterclass Show, hosting here from the Cafe Lounge in Brooklyn. Today, I have another beautiful conversation here for you, sharing our amazing experience and story and mission behind the work that she does. And I'm very excited to have you as part of our podcast today.
Yeah, thanks
so
for
much.
having me and for letting me bring this little guy.
Absolutely. We're honored to have this little guy join us on our interview today here at the Cafe Lounge. So Jolie, I would love to start with maybe an introduction for our audience.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I'm Jolie Dudley. I'm also based in Brooklyn, New York, and I am one of the co-founders of Must Love Dogs in Comedy. And we are a 501c3 nonprofit. We produce comedy shows that people can bring their dogs to, and we raise money for animal rescue, increase diversity in comedy, and are just creating community around people who love canines and comedy. So far we've been able to raise over $30,000 for animal shelters. We booked over 500 comedians nationwide. We're based in New York, but we do shows all over, and we have some bigger projects in the works that I'm excited about to take our in-person dog-friendly shows to the next level.
I love your mission. I think we connected through a networking event here in Brooklyn. And as soon as you shared that, I said, I have to have you on my podcast because that's what we do here. I like to feature people that are doing meaningful things in the world, things that are really are a contribution towards others. And I think your mission is really amazing. I like to kind of ask you, how did you get started with it? How did you wake up one day and be like, okay, this is what I think I want to focus on?
Yeah, for sure. So during quarantine is when I actually started my comedy journey. So I was taking a lot of online classes and learning the skills and the art and the rules of comedy. And then once quarantine ended in New York, I was going to go out and perform, and I felt bad leaving my dog. This is not my dog. We're babysitting while my sister-in-law is away. But my dog, I felt bad leaving her at home, and I was like, man, I wish that there was a place specifically to go out, enjoy comedy, perform comedy, be able to bring your dog with you and just have like a good night out, reconnecting with people, not over Zoom anymore, because it was right after quarantine ended when we had COVID in New York. And so I was like, you know what? I don't see anything like this. Why don't I just create it? And if I'm feeling like this, other people might be feeling like this too. So October of 2021, I hosted the first dog-friendly comedy show that was open to people to come, bring their dogs, or just come and be around them. And we booked our comedians, and it went well. So we're like, okay, let's do it again. Okay, let's do it again. Let's do it again. And then here we are 4 years later. And it just started from like, oh, I want to do this. It's not there. Maybe I'll create it.
Yeah, I mean that's how every entrepreneurial venture starts, right? With that vision and also a gap that you maybe have felt in your personal life or even in your journey. Because I always believe that everything that happens to us for a reason, and
Yeah.
we never know where eventually that will turn into a cause, something that we're passionate about, that some of them want to share with others. So it seems like you walk some of the similar footsteps. That's very cool. So comedy shows. So what are some of the things that happen in there? Like what happens in the shows? And we probably will add some links for the
Yeah.
audience, past shows and things so they can check it out. But
Yeah.
with in your own words, like what has been the experience of the attendees
Yes.
for these events?
We've been classified as chaotic joy. Okay, so coming into a comedy space, you're hopefully gonna laugh because you vibe and you like what the comedians are saying, but then you look around and you see a whole bunch of cute little dogs, and so it's just like a very happy place to be. We have primarily traditionally booked stand-up comedians, and not all of the comedy is about dogs, but the dogs are heckling. They are barking, they are using the bathroom on the ground. Sometimes there are humping. Yeah, it's a little chaotic at times. They all stay on the leash, but it's just so funny. Like a comedian will be like, "Oh, the weather's so great outside," then you hear, "Burp, burp, burp," and like, "Oh, I know, right?" So it's like a unique challenge for comedians to come in and maybe they're used to like drunk humans heckling them, but maybe they've never had a dog bark throughout their set or accidentally use the bathroom on the ground for their set. So it's like a unique challenge for comedians, but then for audience members, it's just cool to to have a night out that you can bring your dog with you.
Yeah, I definitely would like to attend. I had a German Shepherd, but unfortunately we had to put it down, 2 years now, but,
Yeah.
it seems like something so cool and interesting, and we definitely will include links for the audience to check out the shows and maybe join them. Where do you have them? Physically in New York?
Yeah, so we're primarily based in New York. So we do a lot of shows at Boris and Horton. It's a dog friendly cafe in the East Village. So we do a lot of shows there, but we've taken our show within the tri-state area to Bronx, Queens, Brooklyn. We've gone to Jersey, we've gone to LA, we've gone to Florida. So we're mobile. We
Yeah.
want to be able to bring our show to as many people and pups as we can. 'Cause not everybody can travel that far with their dog to, enjoy this experience, this night out for a good cause.
Yeah, absolutely. The mission is there, the cause is there, so I love that, you're putting these together, but also hosting these events, because I know how challenging they can be, but also how fulfilling to be able to put these events together. I myself always enjoyed events, hosting them and bringing people together at the end of the day for a common purpose. And
Yeah.
definitely, your purpose and your journey is definitely, for a higher, the funds, I guess, are being, put to use for better cause. So what is the foundation as far as like the mission is? And what is the bigger thing that you envision in your journey? Like what, if you were to be like, okay, this is a great success, people are contributing, this is exactly where I want the money to go so that you create more impact with it. What would that look like?
Yeah, for sure. So, like where our mission is kind of twofold. So we are supporting animal rescue efforts, and then we're increasing diversity in comedy. So we always want to be able to give the spotlight to animal rescue organizations or shelters. And that means having them come to the show, talk to our audiences about ways that they can get involved. We give them a portion of ticket sales to go towards their work and their advocacy. Sometimes if they're able to, they even bring foster dogs that are looking to get adopted, and throughout the show we'll be like, this dog is looking for a home, and then get to give them the spotlight that way. And then on the flip side, we also support our comedians, and so we have our professional film equipment, and we give them a video of their set if they want us to film that they can use for their own professional work and advancing their careers. We also pay them. A lot of times up and coming comics they get paid in like drink tickets. So we do, pride ourselves on paying the comics too. So dream, if somebody watching this video is like, you know what, here's an unlimited supply of money and you could do with this, what you want. I want to take our brand of Must Love Dogs and Comedy to a more global level. So we do really well in New York with our in-person shows, and I want to be able to take us on tour. I want us to have a TV show where we go to different cities and put on these events and spotlight local up and coming comics. I want us to have a podcast, to have children's books, all of these different types of things that kind of touch on the importance of both comedy and our relationships and our bonds that we have with our pups.
Yeah, I love that. You certainly have a big mission and a big vision for the
Oh,
work
yeah.
that you're doing and the impact that you want to create. And a lot of our listeners are also entrepreneurs, and they're very hard driven, meaning alongside their main business, they have maybe a foundation, a cause that they're contributing towards. What are some of the challenges that you have faced in growing your nonprofit along your journey that maybe you could share the audiences, and maybe some lessons that you have learned?
Yeah. So I think having like a level of legitimateness, if that makes sense. So within like the comedy sphere plus like the animal rescue sphere, we're kind of in this unique space that not a ton of people are doing what we're doing. And so it's getting people on board to the mission and the vision. We've invited people within like the entertainment industry that are like managers and agents, and they'll come to the show and be like, yeah, it's cute, but not really understanding like the bigger mission or the bigger impact that it could have. Or if we're reaching out to, like sponsors and partners and individuals to potentially help us take it to the next step, we get a lot of conversations that are like, oh, wow, that is like such a great idea. Good luck. And no, and not necessarily opening their wallets to support it. So it's not only just like getting them to understand the vision and the mission and the goal, but like the actual buy-in to help, take that to the next level. So it's, getting people's attention, getting them to the show, to experience it, and really like telling our story and our success that we've already been able to have over the past few years when it's just myself, my partner, and our dog. So it's like, if we can do this, just us, imagine what we could do if we had more support. So I think those lessons of trying to, like, the importance of storytelling, the importance of being patient. I'm not a very patient person. So waiting for the emails to get back, waiting for, them to check with their team. That's tough sometimes. And I'm like, we can just do it. Let's just make it happen. That like hustle and drive of an entrepreneur can be tricky too. And I think like the biggest lesson is just returning back to why I started it in the first place. Right? Like there's a lot of rejection. There's a lot of silence with doing outreach and trying to make things happen. And so it's like on days where I'm not hearing anything back or I'm hearing no all the time, it's like, okay, well, why did I start this in the first place? Why did this mean so much to me to put all of this like time, effort, sacrifice in to make it happen? And on those the hard times, that's what I really try to reflect on and remember why I started it in the first place.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that because I personally have gone through a lot of those things that you talked about. I think whether you have a for-profit or not, or not-for-profit, not everybody's going to understand, and people are nice and they tell you,
Yeah.
"Oh, you have such a great business,
Good luck.
you have a great mission,"
Yeah.
but not everybody obviously takes the next step to be able to support because it's okay, they just don't see it, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that you believe that as a founder and we believe in the work that we do, I think that's the resilience that is needed in the journey. I love that you mentioned patience because it's definitely one of the virtues that I've also learned in the journey of being an entrepreneur, somebody that's very cause oriented and mission driven as well. Because again, not everybody's going to see it, but I find that timing is really important and just staying faithful to why you started it, but also taking the right intentional actions to be able to do so. And just just building trust along the way. I think trust at the end of the day is the most important currency that we have, and that does take time.
Yeah.
It takes
Oh, yeah.
a second to ruin. So
Yeah.
building something that's meaningful and staying definitely faithful to the journey. And sometimes when you don't see the results, still believing that those they're gonna come. It's definitely the hardest part of being an entrepreneur. And leads me to my last question, which is more on the personal end. What are some of the things that you have sort of grown to as a human being, as a person, as you are focusing on your cause and your mission? Some of the challenges maybe you have overcome personally that you're like, oh my gosh, like, if my mission was not there, I don't know if I would deal with that, but I will deal with it because the journey is going to get me to the things that I really most care about. Like, what are some things that you have learned?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I've learned is like tenacity. I think somebody has referred to me as tenacious before, and I think back to that a lot, of just not being afraid to put myself out there, not being afraid to like go after it. Whereas I know some people, get hung up on even just sending a cold email or making the ask or trying to negotiate or trying to make something happen. Whereas like I'm not afraid to email anybody. I'll call them, I'll send them a message, anything like that. Where the patience comes in of trying to wait. But I think just the biggest lesson of knowing and understanding my worth, my value from reflecting on why I started in the first place has really given me the confidence and maybe sometimes the naivety to reach out, to try to make things happen. I think a lot about like closed mouths don't get fed, people with that saying of like, who's going to advocate for you if not yourself? Who's going to tell your story if not for yourself? So trying to be the one to make things happen and not wait for it to happen to me.
Yeah, I think that's big. And whether that's something that you're born with or, obviously we have different personalities and some people are more introverted and all of that, but at the end of the day, yeah, I think visibility is one of those things that I learned in business as well. I would hide away. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh,
Wait
like,
for
I
them to
would
call.
wait for
Yeah.
everything to happen to us, but visibility in business or a cause or a mission is very closely related. And it makes a lot of sense because if people don't see you, right, and they don't understand where you're coming from and why you care so much about certain things, then how are we supposed to build trust and human relationships, which everything at the end of the day is really built on human relationships.
yeah.
So visibility is one of those things that a lot of us as entrepreneurs struggle with, especially if you're hard driven,
Yeah.
because we have those skills or talents, but we're like, well, everybody has them. We undervalue what we
Oh,
have
yeah.
to offer
Yeah.
because we're always comparing ourselves to the next person.
Mhm.
But we're also authentic and unique. That
Yeah.
just staying true to that has really at least helped me kind of ease off some of maybe showing up on social media or starting a podcast or even just sharing my experience with some of the blocks or challenges that I've had. It's been really, really, because I'm like, at the end of the day, I'm just being me, right?
Yeah.
And it gives you so much freedom because we always try to be, at least, especially with when you don't have a lot of the experience, you try to be everybody else because you haven't figured out who you are
Yeah.
yet. And I think the more you can learn who you are and stay true to that, the easier the journey becomes because everything becomes a channel. Like this is could be a great window and channel for someone, or maybe a video on social media, an event, or even just going out there to events and meeting people can be, all ways to get the word out, get the mission out there. But if we make it more about the mission and not ourselves personally, I've realized that we're more motivated rather than
Yeah.
it's like, the selfish needs that we have. I think it's great to be selfish because we all begin there, but then, when you're a contribution, you kind of get up in the morning because you have people that are relying on you in a way or another. So that service aspect, I've also seen it's really, really important. Well, thank you so much for sharing what you have built so far, the cause and the mission behind the work that you're doing on our podcast here as well for our listeners. And at the end, I'd love to ask you, how is it that the audience can support you? What is it, the next thing that they can do to at least follow? We opened the conversation, at least continue the conversation and build a relationship.
Yeah, definitely. So we're online. You can follow us on Instagram, on TikTok, Must Love Dogs and Comedy. We have our website. If you're somebody who, wants to just come to an event, we have at least 2 a month in the fall in New York City. We're able to travel. If you want to bring us to wherever you are, email us. That's how we, did our LA show or our Florida show. We're able to come and put on this event for the public, for corporate, for private events. And all of it will be a benefit for animal rescue and for underrepresented voices in comedy. But yeah, follow us, sign up for our email list, spread the word.
Definitely, that means a lot to everybody. And yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And I will include all the links so it's easier for everybody to be able to support. And yeah, I wish you amazing success with your mission. And I'm glad that we connected.
Yeah.
Any way that we can be supportive of one another. I think at the end of the day, that's what life is all about. So thank you for sharing that with us today. And thank you for watching. Thank you for supporting the show. Don't forget, subscribe, share, and review the show. And if you're ever in Brooklyn, New York, I would love for you to say hi and grab a coffee here at Cafe Lounge. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time with another show and another amazing conversation. Bye, everybody.